Abolished it. This should end the discussion, although I have more recent point about the Torah, because he said so. If he said it and he never unsaid it, come on, I mean, his wish is my command, right? So, in our opinion, the fact that he said it and never unsaid it is not debatable. That's where we get our doctrine from. At that point, how you respond is the question, absolutely. And that we won't address that, but that is a separate question. People sometimes mix the two. It's a great teacher. Example of the feast, right? When you keep the Torah, you learn things about Scripture that don't have anything to do with salvation. I learned things about in the feast now that I can apply to the Revelation and the end times. And you see Yom Teruah is the rapture, and it starts to fall together. So keeping the Torah by doing the feasts and doing these things, it basically teaches you more about Scripture and God. Yeah. It trains you. Keeping the Torah trains you specifically to do frequently the little things like this that might seem insignificant. Well, God is our trainer, right? And I kind of relate to sometimes to say a boxer, right? If you're a boxer, and you've got one of the best boxing trainers in the world, and he tells you to go over there in the corner and start jumping a rope for hours on it. And like, man, this trainer's an idiot. I'm gonna get in a boxing match. I'm not gonna be jumping. It's not a jump rope match, We're not gonna see who can jump rope the longest in the boxing ring. We're gonna be punching each other. And so this trainer's an idiot. I'm not gonna ignore what he says. I'm rejecting the trainer's advice, and I'm gonna go do my own training program. Well, again, we know enough about boxing to know that what the trainer is telling you to do, even though it seems like nonsense, is very valuable because you have to build up your leg strength. Mm-hmm. Because when you get punched in the nose, your legs go weak. And you're going to fall down. And so, the training is very valuable. And so the Torah trains us, in my opinion, to do by keeping the little things that we're doing every day. It builds up your strength and your faith in ways that you don't understand. And you don't have to understand it to do what he says. It's a great witness. That's from Larry. The 2Ds one. Keeping the Torah is a great witness because, if you're wearing seats every day, you're going to get looked at. You're going to get asked questions in the office. And even if you're not, it's going to happen because, for example, people might find out, they want to go do something on Saturday. Well, I can't. Why? Because I'm going to Shabbat service. It's going to come up. If they're going to order pizza at the office, wait a minute, okay, I can't have pork. Well, why can't you have pork? What's going on? And so you're going to be forced into being a witness by keeping the Torah because God says that his people will be a peculiar people. You will stand out. You will be holy. You will stand out. And if you're not standing out as a believer, then there's something wrong with you. And one of the best ways to stand out is to keep his Torah. This is similar, but it teaches obedience. Again, similar to maybe 33, but it teaches obedience for us to do things, especially when we don't understand them. The example I use of this is like when my little daughter was like yay big, and she was riding this little tricycle around the driveway. And she looked down there in the street. There's all this pavement down there. She thinks she could ride the tricycle on that pavement out there, and that seemed like a good idea, right? And we stand at the end of the driveway, and we just say, stop, no, go back. And at her age, she can't explain it. Well, you're short like this, and I can't see over the hood of your car, and you're not paying attention, and it's dangerous. And no, you're not going to explain it to them. You're just going to say no. The answer is no. You don't understand it. And so in that sense, you're learning obedience. There's things that you do, and there's things you don't do. I don't eat shrimp. Why? What's wrong with eating shrimp? People eat shrimp all the day. It doesn't seem to hurt them. I don't know. But if he said no, the answer is no. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do it. In fact, if people ask me today, what's your favorite food? Well, actually, my favorite food is boiled shrimp. I just don't eat my favorite food anymore. It's still my favorite. I just don't taste it in my mouth. I love boiled shrimp with cocktail sauce. It's great.
Lobster.
But, really, is that really that hard to give up? You think of the things that we change in our lives when we become Torah keepers. You're not murdering. You're not cheating on your wife, hopefully. You're not doing a great many things. What do you change? Well, I go to worship on Saturday instead of Sunday, and I don't eat a few things. And maybe I wear these. That's it. I mean, how much did I really change in my life to keep Torah? Actually, very little. But there's a learning of obedience there. They actually basically believers. Believers are already keeping a lot of the Torah. If you look again, the weightier matters especially. What they balk at seems to be more of these simpler items of the Torah. But by and large, the Christian will say, or believer will say, I don't believe in keeping Torah. Well, you are keeping Torah. You know, quit. You're keeping a lot of the Torah.
Yeah, you are.
Because you're trying to make the division between moral and ceremonial. But all right, they're keeping a lot of it, especially the weightier parts, which is to be commended. All right, the seventh one is like the first one. Maybe I need to reiterate that. Because he said so. That should be the end of the discussion, right? And so, yeah, if God said it, and it's clear, and many of the commandments are clear, and some of them are not. And so I think they're not clear for a reason. And again, it must be, we want to be careful not to add too many rules where he was vague. And one of the areas where he's vague was about keeping the Sabbath. What can I do on the Sabbath? What can I not do? And over the years, especially in the Judaism, they added a lot of rules because there's a desire for mankind to make sure that his brother is doing what I want him to do. And so when I've decided that you cannot do something on the Sabbath, then you're not going to do it either. And it almost, it's kind of a natural desire of mankind to control his brother. I don't know if that's exactly why he was vague in it. But the point is, yes, when the Scripture is clear, we want to be very clear. But when the Scripture is less clear, we want to be careful to put too many man-made rules on what you can and cannot do. But the point is, yes, he says so. Any questions?
Well, I just have a comment. It seems like when you tell somebody you keep Shabbat, I think one of the reasons why a lot of times they don't like it is because it's threatening to them. Then it's like, oh, you mean I got to do that? You know, well, you didn't say that, but a lot of times that's maybe the implication or...
There's a whole lot of words they use very sloppily. You mean I have to do this? Have to for what? To earn your salvation? No. That's kind of the implication behind it, though. So when they say those comments, I want to make that clarification. Well, you're saying I have to keep Shabbat. Well, wait a minute. In order to be saved, not necessarily. So what do you mean by have to? What I'm saying is, God is asking you to do that. What is your response when
That's true.
Basically. It's your response. What God says is relatively clear. What's unclear is how you're going to respond to that. Yes?
I think probably one of the bigger things we didn't put up there is he says, if you do these things based on your own choice, then you're choosing life, death, cursing, or blessing. So the thing is I'm seeing a lot of believers that their wife's sleeping with another man, they're losing their children, they're getting divorced, they're dying of sicknesses. So under the curses in Deuteronomy, which is twice, 26 and 28, it says, you have the choice. If you want these curses to happen, then don't do what I say. But if you want this list of blessings to happen to you, then simply do what I say. And it has nothing to do...
That was specifically for the nation of Israel as a nation, possibly. But I agree with you. In fact, I said as much earlier. Yeah, if you go on doing bad sins, and you don't even have to be a believer or a Torah keeper to look at people that are doing evil in the world, their lives are in ruin and they're in jail and they're getting executed, right? Absolutely. If you're going to be that evil, that's actually going to have an effect on your life. Yes?
We also do it out of love for him. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you run across him.
If you love him, you will keep his commandments, right? That's what he said. And in fact, he says, these commandments should be on your heart. And again, if being on your heart, if that idiom means love to you, exactly. If you love him, then you'll want to do it. I think the idiom actually means in Judaism a motivation. Same thing, though. It means you're motivated to do it.